Hello movie lovers, Bob for Bob's Movie Review here, and today I'd like to review for you a movie I just watched called The Fifth Passenger. Be sure to click subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload great new content. If you enjoy the video, be sure to show it some love and give it a like rating. So this is a new sci-fi movie releasing on video on demand July 10th, 2018 from Epic Pictures. It is directed by Scotty Baker. Now the main star of this movie, I'm really not sure how you would say her name, Morgan Lariah, maybe? I'm really not sure. Sorry if I get that wrong. She plays Eve, who is, as I stated, the main character of this movie. In the beginning, she finds out she's pregnant. She crashes, or they find her escape pod, and they have to read her memory to try to find out what happened to her. So I would really like to call this movie a Star Trek reunion, although I'm not sure if any of these people were ever in episodes or movies together or not. But there are several Star Trek alumni in this movie. First off, probably the most well-known Marina Sirtis, who played Counselor Troy on The Next Generation and in several movies. She plays Alana, and she's really not in this one a whole lot, which is kind of disappointing. You know, a lot of people recognize her, and like I said, she's one of the bigger names in this movie, and you would have hoped to see more from her. She plays the person who is like extracting these memories. Basically, they put these headset goggle things on them and it records their memories. Funnily enough, I did actually meet Marina Sirtis before. I used to kind of be a Star Trek nerd. I don't get into it so much anymore, but when I was younger, my dad was really into it, and I met her at a Star Trek convention. Next, it has Armin Shimerman, who played Quark on Deep Space Nine, and I was actually supposed to meet him before at a convention, but he didn't show up. He plays Myers. I think he was the medic. I wouldn't say he was good or bad. I would say he was underutilized and probably not really given a good chance to perform well in this movie. It was a little interesting seeing him without all his makeup and prosthetics and stuff. And the one who really stole the show, the shining star in the night sky, Tim Russ, he was really good in this movie. I really enjoyed him. He played Tuvok on Star Trek Voyager. He was kind of like the bad guy, and he really made you root for the bad guy in this one. At least me personally. I just kind of really liked his character and the way, I mean, they did really have these issues that they were kind of tackling in this, you know, sexism, classism, and mental illness were kind of all undertones in this movie. You had what they called citizens and non-citizens. I'm not sure that they went enough into exactly what that meant. They just kind of started off this movie like just throwing all this stuff at you without really giving you any backstory to explain it. And to me, I just felt like it was really overwhelming. I was just like, how am I supposed to know what's going on? And I think a little bit throughout the movie, they sprinkled in some details to help you figure out what they were talking about. But I still am not 100% clear what a citizen was and a non-citizen. Other than that, the citizens were kind of like the higher, more respected, you know, and the non-citizens were kind of like the hobos or whatever, you know. They just weren't, people thought less of them, and they were willing to let them die. Like, they didn't really care. So as I said, they have this escape pod, and she crashes, and they got to get her memories. And so you're kind of just watching her memories, and the whole movie basically is revealed through her memories. You're watching, and it was really kind of cliche. You know, they always have in these space movies where they have an asteroid field ahead, and for some reason they can't go around it. And I never understand why. They never go up or down in space. They only go straight. It's like the asteroid's like this way, and they could just, right? I don't know. And it's so overdone in movies. And surprise, surprise, the asteroids take out their ship. They have to go to the escape pods, and then it gets damaged, and they're kind of just adrift. And then from then on, this movie is kind of like Alien meets Star Trek. Just, I don't want to go into it any more than that, just to describe it that way. So as I said, you're just kind of witnessing them, and the whole fifth passenger thing. Then the whole fifth passenger thing is these pods are designed for 4 people, and they have 5 people in the pod. So they don't have enough food, they don't have enough oxygen, and of course it's damaged, so they can't get help. They're kind of just trying to survive until hopefully somebody comes to find them. So let's talk about the positives of this movie. You can see some old faces from Star Trek if you're into that at all. It was at least an average to slightly above average lower budget sci-fi movie. It had amazing CGI that really immersed you in this world of the fifth passenger. I really am very impressed with the CGI job they did on this one. And also the green screen work. You know, there were some scenes where you just know it's a green screen. And I only say that because you know they didn't build the set, you know, but on a lot of them, I was questioning, you know, is that a set? Is that a green screen? They looked so good. I was like, the set looks so good, but yet it doesn't look like a green screen. And it really made me question. I'd be really curious to find out like how much green screen work they did on this movie, because it looked really good. And there were times where I was just like, okay, that's got to be a set, right? You know, but there were a few times where I said, okay, they didn't build that. There's no way they built that. So either they had the most amazing sets or they just did really good green screen work. Maybe I'm too hopeful. As I said, Tim Russ is amazing in this movie. Maybe it's kind of like a love to hate him kind of thing. You know, he's kind of the bad guy, you know, the sexist one. You know, he really hates the non-citizens, but he's good. I liked him. Now, the ending of this movie is kind of what just sets this one a little bit above. I think I really like that they had this really great twist that you didn't really see coming. I didn't see it coming, at least. A lot of times I'll see twists coming. I did not see it in this one. And just right away, it makes you kind of think, like rethink everything that happened in the movie and you know, question what you perceived. And luckily, they do go back and they do explain it to you and tell you what happened. And I really appreciate that. Now, unfortunately, the very ending of the movie, I just think they kind of went a little too far. And I think they didn't really have to add in the very end of this movie. If you guys see it, you'll know what I mean. So the last thing I had wanted to talk about was the music. And I know I talk about music in lower budget movies a lot. It's because they do music poorly in low budget movies. And music can really enhance or ruin a movie. I feel like this movie is right on the edge of overuse. It's enjoyable, but they do kind of use it a lot and not necessarily when you would want it. I'm not going to say they're into the point of overusage, but they're right as close as you could get without going over. It's just a little too much for my liking. So I think for a score on this one, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10, guys. They're plenty good about this movie. Some good acting performances, some not so good acting performances, a pretty decent story, and a just well-produced overall movie, and a great near ending, not quite the ending, but the near ending. And I think a lot of sci-fi fans, Star Trek fans, all us nerds out there are really going to want to check this one out. So I hope you guys did enjoy the review. If you did, be sure to give it a like rating. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. Check out the suggested videos. Check out my website, BobsMovieReview.com. And hopefully by the time this review goes up, there will be a link in the description to purchase this movie. And I'll see you guys next time.